We'll proceed to file item number 5, SB 334 by Senator Leyva. Is Senator Leyva? She is here, walking up. You may begin when you're ready.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and members. I would first like to thank the chair and the committee staff for helping me make this a better bill, and I will be happy to take the suggested amendment. Members, the legislature has done an awesome job over the last few years of making sure children in our schools have better food to eat, better quality, more nutritional food to eat. We have banned soda machines, so we don't have them drinking sodas at school. One thing that has been overlooked is clean water in the schools for our children. Currently, there is no requirement to test drinking water in our schools. Unfortunately, chemicals such as lead, which we know are very harmful to students, may be present in water provided in some of California's schools. In the absence of upgrades to aging facilities, many schools have lead, plumbing, and other potential sources of lead in their buildings. The extent of the water quality issues at school sites is unknown, as testing water and the subsequent reporting has been piecemeal at best. Some of you may be familiar with a procedure called flushing. That's where the water faucet or the water faucet is turned on for about 30 seconds, and that is supposed to flush the lead from the pipes. I personally know that I wouldn't feel comfortable having my children drinking that water, and I don't think anyone would. And we had heard this anecdotally. And then in speaking with Senator Holly Mitchell, she told me that at her son's school, every school classroom had a water monitor, and it was his or her responsibility to flush the water each day when they came to school. So clearly, there is an issue, and we know that that should not be ignored. SB 334 will expand the Childhood Lead Poisoning Prevention Act and direct the California Department of Public Health to test drinking water at a sample of school sites. Where water issues are found, school districts will need to ensure that students have access to clean water and develop a plan to fix the situation. It goes without saying that exposure to lead and other contaminants is a major health concern, especially for young children. Kids do not always want to drink water. I'm sure all parents could testify to that. So we want to make sure that the water that they are drinking in school is clean and contaminant-free, because drinking water is critical to fighting preventable health risks such as obesity. Clearly, we have a responsibility to provide clean drinking water to students and to promote healthy habits. SB 334 recommits our state and schools to providing safe drinking water and supporting healthy habits. I am happy to say that this bill has received no votes and bipartisan support. I would respectfully ask for your aye vote. And here with me is Asha Kraling. Asha?
Yes, Asha Kryling with the Community Water Center. We work with small communities, primarily in the Central Valley, people who don't have access to safe, clean, or affordable water. Through our research and our work directly with communities, including schools, we know that the issue of unsafe drinking water in schools is a statewide issue. We are currently working on installing filters on school drinking water fountains in the communities of Arvin and Lamont in South Kern County, which have struggled with water contamination for several years. These are just two communities that face this issue. Similar programs at the statewide level are really necessary to ensure that school children are protected from harmful contaminants such as lead, and that they have access to safe drinking water while at school. We are supportive of the stipulation for more comprehensive testing and public test result data, which will be vital for understanding the scope of the problem and addressing lead in school drinking water. We support this bill. Thanks.
Thank you. Next witness. Do you have another witness?
Nope.
No? Okay. Thank you. Members of the public in support.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Assembly members. Julianne Broyles here on behalf of the California Association of Joint Powers Authorities. We do risk assessment and risk management for public entities throughout California, including schools. We totally support ensuring that there is fresh water for our students in our schools. Ask for your vote.
Thank you. If you could just state your name, your affiliation, and your position on the bill.
Kaylee Winston-Corin on behalf of the American Heart American Stroke Association in support of this bill.
Thank you. Any further support? Any opposition to this bill? Please come forward. Okay.
Enrique Roacho with the California Association of School Business Officials. Our members include facilities, maintenance, and operations managers, all who work to maintain school facilities in good repair and standard. Our opposition to SB 334 continues to be due to the cost associated with the replacing and aging of plumbing infrastructure at public schools. We agree there is a need to modernize the plumbing infrastructure of schools, especially now with Governor Brown's executive order on water conservation and to ensure that safe and healthy drinking water is available to all students. However, under SB 334, public schools that fail the drinking water testings as specified in the bill would not have access to adequate financial resources to fix sources of lead contamination, such as plumbing that is buried underground and inside walls. And even once lead is removed from water infrastructure within a school, there's still the issue of lead contamination by the source system and by providers of water to public schools. And as identified in the committee analysis, SB 334 tests fixtures at schools but does not address lead contamination as a result of source water systems. And so in short, SB 334 adds water quality standards without adequate financial resources to successfully mitigate the presence of lead. And as also identified in the committee analysis, the legislature, as a part of the 1998 Budget Act, provided funding for lead testing of drinking water for elementary and secondary public schools. And so for these reasons, we're opposed to the bill. Thank you.
Thank you.
Alden Mack with the Association of California School Administrators. We're also opposed to the bill, very consistent with where CASBO is. I think what we found in looking at the measure is that oftentimes the treatment of water is outside the control of school districts, and that's something that is a concern for us as you look at trying to alleviate some of the concerns about lead and some of the other contaminants within the water. We certainly agree with addressing the issue. However, without sort of resources through things such as a school bond, what would end up happening is that you're passing on addressing some of these concerns to the school district general fund, and that is certainly a concern moving forward with us. And so therefore we are opposed to this measure. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other witnesses in opposition? They can state their name, affiliation, and position on the bill.
Carlos Machado with California School Boards Association. We associate ourselves with some of the comments raised earlier. Our position is opposed unless amended to provide funding to remediate the repairs that are needed under the bill.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Any comments from the committee members? Mr. McCarty.
Well, first I'd like to move the bill.
Second.
I just want to say that I'm in support of this. I think that we should have operable water fountains at schools and certainly safe. But my only beef is this, is that
Yes.
On many communities where there are not community parks, the school is the community park. And too often that's not always in essence known. And so a lot of our schools, we have these, they have them closed up. They have them caged off for safety reasons. It's not really your bill here, but it's just kind of a pet peeve of mine that I've heard about at the local level, that you go there to your local park, your neighborhood school, and you go find the water fountain. There it is, locked up for the after hours on the weekend. So,
Good point.
anyway, thank you.
Mr. Thurman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Senator, for bringing this bill. It's a great bill. I guess my only beef is that anybody would oppose it. We either provide quality water to our kids or we don't.
Yeah.
I've never heard I shouldn't say that. I think that the example that we know the quality is not good, but it costs too much, it's not a good reason to not take action. It is not a good reason for us to not say that we have an expectation for the public health of our students. And I'm provoked by the arguments that were offered here today against this bill. Clearly, we have a water challenge in the state, and there isn't a lot of it. But this legislature has approved emergency measures to provide water to communities. There are opportunities for schools to work with local water agencies to improve their water infrastructure, and if necessary, to bring in temporary water in canisters or containers or other ways that ensure that children have good water. And so I feel compelled to say, let us not make the lack of convenience the reason that we don't help kids where we know we need to do better. Let us have the political will to do the right thing by our kids, regardless of the cost. Thank you for bringing this bill, Senator.
Thank you.
Thank you. Assemblymember Thurman. Mr. Chavez.
Senator, thank you for bringing the bill, but to my colleagues up here, just like all of you, I sat on the school board and involved. It's very clear to me that California made major investments in our facilities at the end of World War II. And what we're seeing now when you go to a lot of schools is that we have this huge infrastructure problem. I sit on the state allocation board. We have a large infrastructure requirement for all our schools. And I think that hopefully next year we'll be able to talk about how we're going to address that, because we have to. What the senator is pointing out is just really a point of light on a much greater mosaic of problems that we're going to have to address. So I'll be supportive of this bill, but we have a lot of issues in our schools that we need to look at to give the right environment for our children.
Thank you, Mr. Chavez. Any other members of the committee wish to speak? No, we do have a motion. Senator, you may close.
Just respectfully ask for an aye vote, and thank you for all the positive comments. We would be remiss if we don't take care of our children.
Madam Secretary, you may call the roll, please.
The motion is due pass with amendments to Environmental Safety and Toxics Material Committee. O'Donnell?
Aye.
O'Donnell, aye. Chavez?
Aye.
Chavez, aye. Kim?
Aye.
Kim, aye. McCarty?
Aye.
McCarty, aye. Santiago?
Aye.
Santiago, aye. Thurman?
Aye.
Thurman, aye. Weber.
6 votes is out.
6-0. The bill is out.
Great.
Thank you, Senator.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, members.
With that, we'll have file item number 6. File item number 6 by Senator Huff. That's SB 416. Senator, you may begin when you are prepared. Which one? Which one are we doing here? Which file item is that? 416. Oh, here it is.
Mr. Chairman,
You may
members, SB 416 is a code cleanup bill, simply aims to remove the categoricals that were rendered obsolete by the local control funding formula. These code sessions have already been defunded by the budget. Under LCFF, school districts still have the authority to fund all these same programs, but they now have the flexibility to direct that money toward the programs most vital to them. SB 416 reduces confusion for schools as to which parts of the ed code they must abide by and which are no longer operative. I'd like to turn this over to the sponsor of the measure, Erica Hoffman with CSBA, here in support.
Erica Hoffman on behalf of the California School Boards Association. As you know, under LCFF, we basically not withstood many programs currently in the education code. This bill is a small attempt to try to move some of those programs off the books, ultimately maybe taking it from 11-volume code down to one that's a little more manageable. I know there was opposition raised with regards to the IB program and why aren't we repealing it. The bill does repeal the incentive funding requirements that were currently in statute. It does leave a piece of the bill that provides some overview for school districts who want to implement that program. And it also provides authority for school districts, if they so choose to, and they're offering an IB program, to provide some assistance to low-income students in covering the test fee costs. But for those reasons and the rest that's in the bill that we believe at least just slowly but surely cleans up the education code a little bit, we would ask for your aye vote. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. And Senator, just to clarify, you did accept the committee amendments, correct?
Yes.
Okay, great. Any other witnesses in support? Any opposition? Any comments by the committee?
I just moved it, I think.
It's been moved. We have a motion. Do we have any comments from the committee? No. Yeah.
Really hard lifting, I know.
You may close.
I ask for your aye vote.
Thank you. Madam Secretary, you may call the roll.
The motion is due pass with amendments to appropriations. O'Donnell?
Aye.
O'Donnell, aye. Chavez?
Aye.
Chavez, aye. Kim?
Aye.
Kim, aye. McCarty?
Aye.
McCarty, I. Santiago. Santiago, I. Thurman. Thurman, I. Weber.
The bill is out.
Thank you,
you,
Mr.
Senator.
Chairman, members.
With that, we'll go to file item number 4 by Senator Beal, or Bell, rather. Senator Bell. Could we find Senator Bell? We have a motion to move the consent with a second. Please call the roll on the consent calendar.
Okay, SB 111, the motion is due pass to appropriations. SB 445, due pass as amended to appropriations. SB 460, due pass to appropriations. SB 497, due pass to appropriations. SB 597, due pass to appropriations. And SB 708, Mendoza, due pass to appropriations. O'Donnell?
Aye.
O'Donnell, aye. Chavez?
Aye.
Chavez, aye. Kim? Kim, aye. McCarty? McCarty, aye. Santiago? Santiago, aye. Thurmond? Thurmond, aye. Weber.
The consent calendar is out. Right now, we are waiting for Senator Bell or Senator Fuller. I believe we are looking for them now. Alan was on consent. Bell's office number.
They're both on their way.
Okay, we'll move to file item number 4 by Senator Bell. Senator, you may proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and hope you're having a good afternoon here. I'm requesting to present SB 311 to the committee today. This is a district bill, a pilot project in the Alum Rock School District in San Jose. And first, I'd like to accept the committee amendments and the committee analysis. Thank you, everybody, for working with us on these amendments. This bill in the Alum Rock School District located in East San Jose is a pilot project that extends the hours of preschools, eliminates paperwork burden for families wishing to enlist their child in the program. With recent amendments authorizes eligible students up to transitional kindergarten. The pilot aligns with the Common Core standards, develops social emotional skills, provides parent engagement, and other strategies to improve the outcomes for disadvantaged children in the Alum Rock community. Several barriers exist for these students, including high poverty rates, English as a second language, and unfortunately exposure to violence in this community. Several barriers these students faced are those that I mentioned, and we're going to try to sunset this bill June 30th, 2021, and the bill also requires an annual report to the legislature on student outcomes. I'm really proud to introduce our speakers, so we want to have them make the presentation. So,
Mr. Chair, members of the committee, thank you. There we go. Okay, good. My name is Dr. Pepijn van Houwelingen, and I'm here on behalf of Kidango. I'll keep my comments brief. We believe that SB 311 will have a strongly positive impact on children in the Alum Rock School District. It will enhance opportunities for particularly high-need, low-income children to succeed in school. As a pilot project, SB 311 explores the extent to which we can cater to the specific needs of young children in an area marked by an exceptionally high cost of living, significant poverty, and high numbers of English language learners. The project will, moreover, cut paperwork, realizing not only cost savings that could be invested in high-quality programming, but also eliminating considerable disincentives to families in need of services. To conclude, the bill will facilitate and enhance collaboration between the school district, Kidango, which is a community-based nonprofit, and various other agencies such as First Five. With that, I'd like to conclude. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Hilaria Bauer. I'm superintendent in Alum Rock Union School District. And I would like your support on behalf of all of our students. As our community was described, it has many challenges, but it has tremendous opportunities also and tremendous potential. And the spirit of this bill is to be able to catch up those students who are the ones that have been kind of left behind for a number of reasons. The basic goal is to be able to have our youngest students to learn academic English so that they have a chance to participate in our schooling and our economy. Numerous studies have demonstrated the importance of early childhood education, not only in terms of academics, but also in linguistic development. Our families have had many challenges being able to participate in the schooling and the economy of our area, and we believe that this will give their children the opportunity they need to catch up. So if you think in terms of what is it that we're trying to do, I want to highlight that this is a pilot. We are really trying something very different where the school district and a community-based organization provide schooling together and to maximize our resources and for those resources to be more efficient for our community. So I hope to have your support for this bill. Thank you.
Thank you. Other witnesses in support?
Soyla Fernandez on behalf of Early Edge California, also in support.
Great. Thank you. Seeing no further witnesses in support, any witnesses in opposition? Seeing none, we'll bring it back to the committee. I want to thank the Senator for bringing this bill forward. Obviously, you come from a community with many challenges, but also many successes, and one of them being the team you brought forward here today, which seeks to make change and try some unique avenues to educate our youth. And I think the recognition that we need to catch them at a much earlier age than we traditionally have is, very much recognized in this room today. So I thank you, Senator, for that and representing your community so well today. Any other committee members? Mr. Chavez.
Senator Bell, I really appreciate you doing this. A couple of us up here are big supporters of early cognitive development of children. I'm interested in Kindango. Is it a nonprofit or a private?
Yeah.
What are you?
We're a 501c3 nonprofit based in Fremont and Alameda County.
And what are your ratios of providers to or instructors to children?
So we contract with the CDE, and so we follow their ratios.
Tell them what CDE is.
The California Department of Education. I apologize.
Can you tell me the numbers?
I believe it depends on the age range that we serve a variety of age ranges, but I believe it's 1 teacher to 8 children.
At what age?
That's at the age that this bill applies to.
These are pre-K. What are you going to do?
TK.
And pre-K.
4-year-olds?
Real young kids.
Yeah.
1 to 8?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Little ones.
What do you mean by little, anyway?
Well, not as big as me. Not as big as me.
Mr. McCarty.
Well, I wish our TK class had 1 to 8. That'd be great. That
would be fantastic.
Our kindergarten class is 32 kids in our. Yeah, so that's state preschool is 1 to 8. But I'm a big supporter of this bill. More pre-K is a good thing. Certainly is a priority in our state budget. We have over $300 million to expanding early learning programs, including a little bit over $100 million to expand the state preschool program. I guess the only question I have is concern. I'm supporting this bill. I'm going to vote for it. But this is now the third pilot, my understanding. There's San Francisco, there's Alameda, and there's is it Alum Rock?
Alum Rock.
Alum Rock in Santa Clara County. And I get streamlining the application process and having people to go off the free lunch application process as opposed to doing all the paperwork. I guess it begs a bigger question: when's the tipping point? Is this now an issue for the state of California? Should we be doing this for the entire California state preschool program? That's not really a question for you, but it's really a question for all of us. Is that next year there'll be another pilot for another county, and if you look at your bill, I get you're talking about districts with low-income communities, high violence, high English language learner communities, and those are a big part of my district. It's certainly many of us up here, and so that's an issue that we need to figure out down the road. So.
Well, the Alum Rock School District is a very large school district in San Jose, and maybe the superintendent can tell us what her opinion is, because she's very experienced in this subject that you're talking about.
You're absolutely right in terms of the qualifying students and the numerous ways that we want to assign labels to them and all the red tape, for lack of a better word, that our families have to go through in order to have access to basic services. And so I think that is something that we do need to kind of hold up the mirror and check ourselves and see what is it that we do. Because for the majority, for a number of us, it's easy to leave our jobs and say, I need to take care of this business, right? But for families who live on an hourly wage, leaving work for an hour or 30 minutes, it costs them. And so the more barriers that they have in terms of having to spend time enrolling their own students, their own children in different programs, because education is just one, right? It's all the other medical services and all of those kinds of things. I think there's got to be a better way for us as a state to provide basic services to the ones that need it the most.
Any other committee comments? Seeing none, you may close.
Let's keep these kids in the school all day. You know, that's what she's saying. You know, so they're there. They can have a variety of services while they're there, in addition to their education. It's a common sense thing. This program actually takes money from administrative costs by being more efficient with the administration by combining the eligibility for child care and food lunch program. Makes it simpler so that we save that money and put it back into services to allow these kids to be all day in the program, the daycare program run by Kidango. And I think it's a good model, so it doesn't cost the state any money. I urge and I vote. Thank you. Good model statewide, maybe.
Thank you. Secretary, please call the roll.
The motion is do pass with amendments to appropriations. O'Donnell?
Aye.
O'Donnell, aye. Chavez?
Aye.
Chavez, aye. Kim?
Thank you.
Aye. Kim, aye. McCarty? Aye. McCarty, aye. Santiago? Aye. Santiago, aye. Thurmond? Aye. Thurmond, aye. Weber? 6.
The bill's out, Senator.